a little bit later on and come back to that in a second. Some other things you'll notice is we now can pin the Windows Store applications directly to that taskbar. So they look and feel just like more traditional applications. So here I can see I've got Internet Explorer and File Explorer, more traditional applications. And yet next to it, I have the Store and OneDrive and even my music application. So as I hover over them, they give me that mini preview. Now in the case of my music, I even get those small controls, so I can play and pause and skip my music directly from that taskbar. Now let's open up one of these Windows Store applications. What you'll notice is because I'm using a mouse to interact with the application, as I scroll up to the very top, I get the title bar pop down. So I can minimize or I can close that application. And that is consistent through every single app that you download from the store. Now, talking of the store is now automatically pinned to the taskbar, which is it's much better for the end user to discover new applications. And of course, this is great news for our developer community. It's putting the store right at the forefront of our user experience. So those are just some of the changes we made to the desktop. Now let's go back and click that start button that I spoke about earlier. Here's my beautiful start screen, my canvas to express my individuality. And you can see here all the things that matter to me most. And thanks to live tiles, all that information is coming directly onto the tile. So I can scroll with my mouse wheel to move left and right. We've also made some other changes that really celebrate the mouse and keyboard as an input method. Let's take this weather tile here in the middle. If I right-click on it, I get that right-click menu that the keyboard and mouse user would expect. So I could resize, I could uninstall, I could pin it to my taskbar, many different options. Let me show you another thing. A lot of keyboard users use the control button to select multiple things. So I'm going to hold down control, and I'm going to select 4 Office apps there. In fact, I'm going to drag them over here and create a new section. Let's move that one back. In fact, I'm going to rename this. Let's call this Office. Whoop. There we go. Office. And in fact, I'm even going to make them bigger. So I'm going to click on them all, right-click, resize, and I've made them all medium. So you can see how the keyboard and the mouse can really interact with this beautiful modern new start screen experience. Another thing you'll notice is when I've installed a new application, I just get a little reminder at the bottom there. And as I click, there's my all apps list, and it's very clear to me which ones are new and which ones I might want to do something with, whether I want to pin them directly to the taskbar on the desktop or pin them to my start screen. So those are just some of the changes we've made based on a lot of feedback from you, the partners, and also from our end users all around the world. I want to switch gears and show you some fun stuff that we've been building. And we call this the Maps Preview. This is built by the Bing team, and it's a really beautiful 3D rendering of very excellent cities all around the world. In fact, I've started here with Seattle, because that's where I live. I thought I'd give you a quick glimpse of what it looks like. There's the Space Needle. We can see the Music Museum there. That's even my apartment over there, see with the star on, so that's where I live. And let me show you my office. So I'm just going to pan out a little bit here. I'm going to fly over Lake Washington, and there's the Microsoft campus showing up. And the little red briefcase is my office there. So a cool way to be able to experience cities before you've even been there. Now that's all well and good for a city like Seattle that I know, but I want to show you an example where this is really helpful. In fact, somewhere I've never been before. So this holiday, I'm planning to go to Italy, in fact, Verona. So I'm going to click Verona, we're going to zoom out, we're going to fly across the Atlantic and land here in northern Italy. And here is the city of Verona, and it's absolutely beautiful. And this is a fantastic way to navigate around and get a real sense of what the city looks like before you arrive. In fact, that hill over there looks pretty cool. I'd quite like to stay near there, so I think I'm going to look for some hotels close by. And thanks to Bing, we can now search for a bunch of data, and we can put it directly onto the map. So you'll see here there's lots of hotels showing up in the back there, but this number one just over in the corner is nice and close by. So let's take a look at that. And we can see loads of detail, rich Bing data coming through here, TripAdvisor advisor reviews. I can call them, I can go directly to their websites, get even directions, say, from the airport. But in this case, I'm just going to save this to my OneNote. So OneNote is Microsoft's note-taking tool that is truly cross-platform and cross-device. So we're just going to click to share this to OneNote. I'm going to rename this to Verona 2014. and then send. And now that's saved automatically to the cloud and accessible wherever I'm using OneNote. And I'm going to come back to that a little bit later on. So those are just some of the changes that we've made to Windows. Now I want to shift gears and talk to you about what we're doing on Windows Phone. So I'm just going to go to my desktop and load up this fantastic application that allows me to project my device. So here it is, Windows Phone 8.1, the latest version that is rolling out to existing users at the moment, and it's coming pre-installed on new devices, some of which you see behind us, and others in the world, or in shops all around the world. And with Windows Phone, we think that we have got the most personal smartphone experience in the world. We celebrate what matters most to the end user, their favorite people, applications, and many other things. And that truly comes to life on the start screen. You can see here I have pinned all of the things that matter to me most. And again, just like on my PC, I'm seeing beautiful, rich data coming through thanks to live tiles. Now, sometimes you don't have all of your applications pinned to your start. And we had lots of feedback from our end users. We'd love a way to be able to see all of the things that have happened on my phone since I last looked. Well, the good news is we added something which we call the Action Center. I pull directly from the top here, anywhere in the device, and I can see all of my notifications in one place, and I can choose my custom settings that pop up at the top there. So if I want to drop it into airplane mode or turn my Bluetooth on and off, I can do directly from the Action Center. Another thing that's great is I can go directly into all my settings. And I want to show you this other great new feature that we brought to the start screen. We call this the start background, and I'm going to choose here a picture that I took just recently when I was out and about. This is Taipei 101, as I'm sure you all know. I'm going to save that as my start theme. And when I go back to my start screen, those blue tiles have now gone completely translucent. I've got this beautiful image in the background that looks fantastic on this little parallax effect as I scroll up and down. So just another way to truly personalize your phone. Now again, we listened very closely to our community, and they asked us for a way in which that they could manage the files on their devices. And we've responded. In fact, it was only just a few days ago we released what we call the Files application to the Windows Phone Store. This is the first-party experience to manage files on your device. You can't do that on iOS, and you have to use a third-party application on Android. And let me show you what it looks like. So here you can see my phone, and I actually have an SD card in this device as well, so I can move content between those two storage locations. Now I'm going to create a new folder. Let's do that here on my phone. And I've been taking some pictures of Taipei, so let's call this folder Taipei. There we go. And now I'm going to go into the location where those pictures are currently saved, under my saved pictures. As you can see, I've got a ton of photos here. I'm going to select them all. Let's check about them all. Actually, I'm not sure there are lions in Taiwan, so they were clearly from a previous trip. Let's take those ones out. And now I'm going to move those all to that folder I just set up. Move here, and you can see it's just shifted all those photos over instantly. So you can imagine how useful this is going to be for managing all of your files directly on your device, and there you can see they're all now in that new folder. So a great new experience, it's completely free, just published to the store, and something we're really excited about, based again on the feedback we've had. So let's shift gears and talk about some of the exciting things, some of the magic that Tony said earlier that we've been building in this latest version of Windows Phone. And it starts with the keyboard. I'm just going to start a new email here, and you have to bear with me, because I'm not the fastest typer in the world. Let's give it a go. We've added shape writing capability into the keyboard. And the keyboard not only understands the way that you type, but it also knows the people in your address book. So I'm going to give you some examples of this as I go through. So, the built-in Windows Phone, you can even do a little icon, pretty cool. Keyboard is an extraordinary, pretty cool, experience. Let's try that one again. Experience. It knows my people. Now I'm going to type a colleague's name here. Let's go Augusto. And notice it picks his surname up. about this. One of my buddies back in Redmond. And it knows really hard words. Let's go for Mississippi. Boom. There we go. So a great experience. You notice I was gliding my finger over the words, very easy to interact with, and it comes built into every single Windows phone for free. Now the last thing I want to show you is our new, truly personal digital assistant called Cortana. Cortana is currently a beta in the US, and I'm very excited to announce that in the coming months, we're going to be adding both the UK market and the Chinese market to the Cortana service. Now what's great about these new countries is we're not just taking the US version and rolling it out to those 2 new locations. We spent many, many hours building a great voice capability for those local markets and exclusive features for those markets too. And so watch this space as those things start to come to life in the coming months. But for today, I'm going to show you the US version of Cortana here on my phone. Now I can get to Cortana through a number of ways. She has a live tile, as you would expect, or I can just hit the search button. And what you'll notice is that this is what we call Cortana Home. As I swipe up, I have a curated set of content that's very individual to me. In fact, you notice here that she's picked up that I booked some flights. And she's asking me, hey, do you want me to track those flights for you? That's a fantastic idea, because you know what? 24 hours before, she's going to tell me to check in, and she's even going to remind me if the flight is going to be late or cancelled. So I'm going to accept that, and that one there, and now we are tracking. You'll also notice that she can work out your locations. Earlier when I showed you that 3-dimensional map, you noticed the little red briefcase and the little red star on my home. That was because she worked out where I lived. Now it's quite funny, I've obviously been here in Taipei for the last 5 days, and she thinks I now live in Taipei. So I don't live here, so I'm just going to say no. So she's got that one now. And she's also showing me some latest results, news results, things that I'm tracking, business news, the World Cup, and of course, the latest computex. And at the bottom here, some weather stuff. Now, when we built Cortana, we actually worked with real-world assistants. We spent time learning how they handled their clients. And one thing was true and consistent was this idea of a notebook. And so we've implemented that very same concept here into Cortana. Here's Cortana's notebook about me. She knows all of my interests, for example. You see those flights that I'm tracking there. She knows all the people that matter most to me, my inner circle. There you can see my wife is part of that inner circle. And so she can always get through to me any time of the day, because we also have this concept called quiet hours. I can turn quiet hours on, and when I've got incoming phone calls, text messages during meetings, or when I'm sleeping, Cortana will take care of them. But as I mentioned, because my wife is in the inner circle, she can get through any time. And there you can see all the places that she knows about me, my work location and my home address. So that's just a little bit about how she builds up a profile of you as an individual. Let me show you how I might use her on a daily basis. I'm going to start with a real basic one. I've got to get up early tomorrow to fly back to the US, so I'm going to start with an alarm. Wake me up at 5 a.m.
Sure thing. Your 5 a.m. alarm is now on.
So I didn't say set my alarm, I said wake me up. She was smart enough to work that out. Let's try another one. How many calories in a banana?
There are 105 calories in a serving of banana.
There you go. And because Cortana works with third-party applications, you'll notice I can add that to my diet tracker. That's a Bing health and fitness application, and if I wanted to, I could just click that, and it's added it into my diet tracker. Let's try one more. What's the tallest mountain in Taiwan?
Yushin.
Is that right? This is an easy one. Let's try this next one. What is the tallest building in Taiwan?
Taipei 101.
So pretty cool, and you can see how easy she is picking up my voice. It's very natural. She's working it out and translating it into a search result very quickly. Let's try some more advanced things. Set up an appointment for 7 p.m. on Thursday.
What should I call it?
Dinner with Liz.
Okay, add dinner with Liz to your calendar for tomorrow at 7 p.m. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, I've added it. By the way, You have dinner with the boss at the same time.
My wife's not going to be very happy. I have to choose between the two of them. But you can see there how Cortana can help you get on with productivity type based questions and challenges. Now, we have this silly thing, my wife and I, whenever we travel somewhere new, we buy a fridge magnet at the location we're going to. So let's set myself a reminder. And this is a location-based reminder. Remind me to buy a fridge magnet when I get to Taiwan International Airport.
Sure thing. Remind you to buy a fridge magnet when you get to. Sound good?
Yes.
Great.
So now that's set as a reminder, and as I go to that location, that reminder is going to trigger, and it will make sure I don't forget before I get on the plane. And let's do one last thing. I love you.
Thanks. Ditto.